Welcome to the Three Hokages podcast. We're your hosts, Kay, Kareem, and Hanif. Today we're going to touch base on a few superhero topics as well as Comic-Con. Today we're going to discuss Deadpool and Wolverine. The second season of SupaCell has been announced. Amazon Prime Video's Cape Crusader without an I in it. And as well as New York Comic-Con's addition to a possible fifth day on a current 4-day event. So kicking it off, Deadpool and Wolverine, not versus, even though they did fight a few times against one another in the film. Deadpool teams up with Wolverine. I know Kareem's seen it. Kay, have you seen it? Kay's seen it.
Yes, I've seen it.
Is it worth the trip to the theaters? Is it better off just wait until it shows up on streaming, possibly Disney Plus or whatever streaming service will have it first? The hesitation makes me think.
Okay, so I will say this: I did not see it opening weekend. I waited. Okay. So when I went to see it, which was beautiful, there were literally just 6 people in the theater.
Wow.
Yeah, no, the joy of seeing it in the daytime, but there were literally just 6 people. It was me, Gary, 2 people across from us, and 2 people behind us. That was it. And so I enjoyed it. And so but I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much if it was a crowded theater, because there were parts where I'm like, first off, I need them to run back 90% of what Gambit said. Outside of his intro, I'm like, sir, I understood what you were saying. I get that you called yourself the White Devil, but the rest of this, sir, can we get subtitles? Even I will take the subtitles when you were speaking in French. I was cool with that. I just need to know what you said. My bad. Spoilers. Gambit was in it.
We're gonna discuss it. So there will be spoilers in this this episode. I mean, it's been out for at least 3 weeks now. So
and they're all memes now anyway. So
exactly. So that's what I would definitely say see it in the theater, because it's something about the big screen. But at the same time, do you need to see it with a crowd of other people? No. Because again, I'm sure with more people, it probably would have been yay, and there would have been more cheers and stuff. But it was because it was just everybody dead. But I was okay with that. I'm old, I can deal with this.
I saw it opening weekend. I'm still of the mindset of I don't want to see spoilers before I watch a movie, especially a Marvel movie. So I had to see it opening weekend. I even considered watching it in 4DX.
Wow.
And then I saw the prices of the tickets, and I said, yeah, I can sprinkle water on myself in the theater when I want to. It's just it's. But was it worth going to the theater for me? I would say yes. I did see it at opening weekend. It was a matinee. I'm at that point in my life where I love matinees. It was relatively crowded, and I think the crowd enjoyed it, but I loved it. I have to admit, it's a rough time to be a fan of the MCU, because you never know what you're going to get. I enjoy it overall still. I think there are some movies that have been hits for me that others have considered misses. But Deadpool Wolverine was the perfect movie that talked to the audience. It broke through the wall in the sense of not trying to force it, how I think She-Hulk tried to force it. It broke through it in terms of talking about what the audience was discussing for years, which is, oh, now Marvel has the rights back to this. Marvel has the rights back to that. Who's going to be this character? Who's going to be this character? Are they going to bring this person in? And the movie took that head on. Deadpool, we knew he was going to be the MCU, but who else is going to make it? And that's what the movie was essentially about in my mind. It was just a perfect metaphor for who is going to make the cut to the MCU while still being an action-packed, entertaining, and funny movie. So even Gambit's accent, which I did not understand half of it until I started looking at it on the internet, I said, oh, that's what he said. It was part of the joke. It was part of the joke where even Deadpool was like, what is he saying? So everything was that perfect metaphor for it. Well, this is why your movie was cut and why it didn't happen. But we're going to make something of it in this movie, which is he has an opportunity to make a name for himself. And he did. But it doesn't make me want to see a Gambit movie, maybe with someone else, not with Channing Tatum. But that was what was so perfect about this movie for me. It took all of those elements that people discussed outside, and it didn't just put it on the screen. It made a coherent story that was entertaining, Cassandra Nova. It made the characters care about where they fit in all of this. It had a Blade sighting. Um, it's and even the joke about he's going to be the only Blade. I mean, how relevant is that nowadays, where the movie keeps getting pushed back? And so, to me, this was the perfect ode and fan for people who enjoy the MCU, Deadpool fans, Wolverine fans. You get to see so many versions of him, where it's like, oh, I want to see that one now. I want to see that one now. But I loved it, and for me, I'm glad I saw it on the big screen the first time. I can't wait to see it again. I'll be fine watching it at home the second time. But for me, the first time I had to see it in theaters, or at least on the biggest screen.
Okay. Now I know, it's like you said, if you haven't seen it already, there's social media is chock full of spoilers already, memes. What were some of the Easter eggs, or pretty much the Easter eggs that really keyed in on?
The Age of Apocalypse, the Weapon X version, the tan suit, brown and tan suit. I love that. The giant Ant-Man. I didn't even realize that Easter egg at first until I saw the clip that you sent. But it was just chock full of them. The Blade reference, obviously, Daphne Keane being back as Laura. I love seeing that. It was just, I have to see it again to remember every single Easter egg. But I have never been in a movie theater where I'm like, wait, they just did that. Wait, they just showed that. And I'm explaining it too. And I'm like, wait, look at that. It was like being in nerd heaven for the entire movie where everything was a reference. And I even enjoyed the soundtrack. I don't know if that means, the songs they pick now are more applicable for my age group, as opposed to hearing the songs that you would always hear, like, ooh, child. You don't hear that anymore. That's too old now. So now our music is the old music that they play in these scenes. And I'm fine with that, I guess.
So like the Madonna track.
Exactly. But even all the Deadpools, all the different Deadpools and Peter reference, all of that was great. All of that was great.
So I will say a lot of it was spoiled for me by the time I saw it, because I saw it after San Diego Comic-Con happened. So I tried to avoid all things Marvel with San Diego Comic-Con. But I did see the image of the people on stage, and I was like, oh, well, that sucks. There goes that surprise. And normally I don't mind surprises, because even with them, I was still like, okay, that's like, I guess if I hadn't seen it, I'd have more of a reaction, like, oh, that's so cool. But it was kind of okay that even though I went in with some of the spoilers already there, I do like the whole when we go see different Wolverines, and I was like, aw. But and then it had to make me think. I was like, okay, wait, which Wolverine is this? But I especially liked comic book accurate Wolverine. I was like, that is so cute.
That makes sense on why we get a different version for the actual cinematic.
Yeah, I was like, the comic book accurate version of Wolverine would not have worked. As much as I would have loved for it to work, but looking at him, I'm like, yeah, no, we couldn't have gotten comic book accurate Wolverine at all. That just would have been really bad. So, but with the whole thing about which Ant-Man we saw, I was like, oh, that makes more sense now. But because when you sent that clip, and I was like, oh, that makes a lot more sense. But it didn't make what. So we all know how we saw who we thought we were seeing, and I was like, did they really get him back in for this? And then when he revealed which variant this actually is, I'm like, oh, that kind of sucks. But I know people were super happy with the Calverine one, which was I was like, yeah, it's okay.
Not bad.
I mean, I get it. Like, yeah, y'all want him back in there, sure. I will say what was bigger to me was all of the jokes about divorce. Like, that's just cruel. Like, I'm sorry, sir. Did you? And then I believe, and because I could be wrong, but this is why I want to see one more time. But like, I thought in the credits for Hugh Jackman's handler, it said his ex-wife's name, and I was like, I really hope that's not what I saw, because if
now you got me interested. I gotta go back and check.
Because I was like, nah, they wouldn't have did that. Because like, I'm that moron that reads the credits, and it said Hugh Jackman handler, and I was like, wasn't that his wife's name? And if it is, Ryan Reynolds is an asshole. Like, in a bigger way than I would have normally thought. Like, dude, how like I get the Electra, the Electra jokes, yeah, because that makes that was funny, but that one I'm just like, oh, that's not in good taste. That's in bad taste. Like, her jokes, and if it really is her name, that's
well, maybe I'm sure it got Hugh Jackman's approval before it went out.
Sure.
Yeah, but I'm just like, oh, like
I don't care about her anymore.
Right. It's like, that's a little boy. That man was married to that woman for more than 2 decades. Like, ooh, that's just...
who knows?
And maybe she was in the joke too. I don't know.
Possibly, possibly. That could have been it. But
or mere coincidence that they share the same name.
It's a coinky dink.
That's why he hired her originally.
Yes.
And they're like,
but yeah, like you saw it though, Hanif, right?
Yeah.
Like, did you see it in a crowded theater, or did you see it like
daytime as well? The joys of, I guess, getting older. You can see it during the day, in the middle of the week. The only downside for where I live is that sometimes when you go to a matinee show, I guess the special group of people come to the theater, so sometimes they sleep. And as a person who snores, I can empathize. However, I don't snore in the theater. The last time we saw, I'm trying to think, what was the movie that Jaden and I we saw in the theaters recently? Not Deadpool and Wolverine. We saw a movie in the theaters. Oh, that's what it was. Quiet Place Part 2. So the whole movie is silent, and you hear.
Okay, come on.
And it's not like towards the end. This is so early on, where it's sometimes drowned out with actual people talking. That's how early in the movie was going. And we saw a movie. This was before, I think it was like before 1:00 in the afternoon show. So it wasn't like it was late at night. No, it was time to shut it down. Yeah. Super early, like a 7. This is still before 1 p.m. and someone was in the back.
Out.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sure we have all fell asleep in a movie theater before.
Not like that.
Not like that.
I have.
I used to take Jaden to the cartoon movies. I remember falling asleep in Alvin and the Chipmunks, one of the newer ones, and I woke up like, "Where am I? I'm in the theater." Okay, but I knew I wasn't snoring. I'm walking around watching the movie, whatever. But I knew I wasn't snoring.
No, I know I snored. Like, there was one movie that I saw years ago. It was What Lies Beneath, and I was like, and I remember where I fell asleep, and I woke up at the end, and I'm pretty sure I was snoring, but I didn't care because there was like, again,
someone came and shook you, said, "Excuse me, man, we're gonna have to keep it down."
There was probably less than 15 people in that theater, so
no, okay, well, you added some drama to the actual movie.
Exactly, it was boring.
I told my wife one time she was snoring. I can't remember the movie she fell asleep in at. In the beginning, though, before the action started, and I said, "You were snoring really loud," and people started looking. And she was like, "Oh my God, are you serious?" I was like, "No, I'm kidding. It was so close to near me in the theater because I lied to you about the whole time. Like, you missed this, you missed that. People were looking at you. They were happy. They were mad.
Yeah,
it does happen.
I was just gonna say she fell asleep and you switched chairs. She woke up like she didn't know where she was.
Don't give me any ideas now.
Don't do that. Don't do that,
Like, yeah, I'm sitting behind you now. So she's like, where is he? Where is he? He left.
That's worthy of Deadpool and Wolverine. You know,
Yeah, that's a real Wade Wilson move right there.
yeah.
But it's moving on from Deadpool and Wolverine. We'll move on to Netflix's latest superhero successful series, SupaCell, by Ratman. So they did declare that they're going to not declare, but they announced that they're going to put a second season out. I don't think they said when the second season is going to come.
No,
but I'm hoping it's soon. It has elements of Heroes. For those who haven't seen it, it has elements of Heroes, the NBC show. At the same time, it feels like it's like the old Channel 4 BBC, UK television, I think it was Channel 4, Misfits superheroes show, where basically all normal everyday people get superhero-like abilities, and they try to cope with those. Try to survive every day with those kind of abilities. I'm looking forward to a season 2. Any predictions before for season 2?
I just hope the Netflix curse doesn't kick in, where instead of having an interest in season 2, they want to drag everything out to get a season 3. And then before it even gets to season 3, they cancel it because season 2 wasn't as enjoyable as season 1. So I just hope it stays on track. The story remains tight and focused. Even if the story has to wrap up in 2 seasons, I'll be fine with that because you can always do spin-offs. But if it's supposed to be 3 seasons, I'll enjoy that. I'm very jaded by the House of Dragons. So I just hope the same thing doesn't happen here. And I can actually keep my Netflix subscription because they did renew it. So
I was gonna say, like how Umbrella Academy's fourth and final season turned out a lot. I haven't watched it yet, but we can discuss later on that most of the people who have watched it that I know have said like it. Not that it didn't need to be done. I mean, for closure, yes, but they said it really wasn't. It seemed to not. It didn't hit the same marks as the first 3 seasons did, which is disappointing because I like the premise of the show. I think it could have definitely dove deeper into the worlds, but SupaCell, I'm hoping it doesn't do what Misfits did after season 2, where like Kareem says, like the storylines weren't as entertaining. The characters didn't capture my attention in seasons 3 and 4 of Misfits, and I think one by one, a lot of those actors from the original set moved on to bigger and better things, but it really wasn't as good as it used to be.
I'm hoping like they get at least 3 seasons, honestly. Like I want an intro, I want a main act, and I want a conclusion. So like this season 1, that was our intro. Season 2 be our main act where like we see all the other people doing whatever they need or like whatever happens. And then season 3 is a definitive conclusion that open ends with like maybe a new set of SupaCell people. If the guy so decides, because Netflix is funny about money. So maybe it might maybe like Beyond a season 3 might not show up on Netflix, but at least they all get their stories told and to completion.
Yeah, I agree. I'm hoping that whether it's 2 seasons or 3 seasons, I'm hoping that we get finality of this. We're not going to be left with a cliffhanger, and whatever we do get, it's well deserved. It's not just like, okay, they ran out of story ideas and just jumped the shark and threw something at us and hope we're happy with it.
Yeah.
So wait, but any predictions about what you want to see in the second season? Yeah.
I just don't want them to get any kind of superhero costumes. I like how they just had some black leathers on. We're good with that. I'm hoping that big man, I forgot his name, but the dude who does who has the super strength, he is able to stop his son from joining that gang or whatever. Well, not so much joining. He's already with them, but basically pull him back to just being a normal kid. Don't go in that life, bro.
Yeah. I know it costs money unless they use more practical effects, but I want to see them use their powers a lot in season two.
Mm.
Um, Not just from a training standpoint, even if they develop new ways to use their power. I really want to see the stakes being made higher in season two, which requires the use of their abilities and not in a confusing way where Michael is in 3 different time zones and then you got multiple timelines, like not where it's confusing, but where it's entertaining, where you can
Mhm.
say, "Wow, that was action packed," while there's still good character development.
I want
No.
to see, and this is maybe like during like the second season, possibly third. I want to see if they can successfully transmit the gene. Okay. To non-typical sickle cell people, if that makes sense, without being
Of the
with being
mayonnaise persuasion.
correct. I mean, they
Um,
might not because it could be like yeah.
I
If
think that's
that
what they're trying to do, because I
I
don't think
think
they're
that's a
doing
good
this
time.
because I don't think they're trying to take sickle cell carriers or no, and give them or work on them just to see if they get not magic but superpowers out of the kindness of their heart. They're probably trying to find a way to harness that to have them either you do their bidding or ultimately have that ability themselves.
yeah,
Kind of like the
I'm
comic
curious.
Black, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm very curious to see it work and it fail. Like I want to see, like that's what I want to see. I want to see in the next season a successful case and what
Mm-hmm.
that person looks like, and if that person happens to be half male, like
Half male, half amazing.
yes, half male, half amazing. It's so bad. I'm sorry, people. Y'all know what I mean without without me saying it, because someone's gonna be like, "Oh my god, that's so racist." It's not. Shut up. But like, yeah,
So,
I kind of want to see, because there's so many half male, half amazing people in England. Like, it's a
well, look
thing,
at one of the main characters, the speedster. He's half black,
right?
half male. I can see that, and then they get the power, but then the sickle cell takes over. So now they no, they're now
And that's where I
afflicted
want to
with
see the negative trait. Like, yeah, that's like I want to see it happen, and like it seems like it's working, but then the sickle cell is what killed. Again,
Mhm.
this is. I'm not saying this dude needs to do, but I'm just like, that would be in my mind when I was seeing it. That's what I was like, oh, imagine if they get it to somebody who is slightly like maybe a quarter amazing, or 1/8 amazing, and it just kind of. I'm so sorry.
He's a quarter amazing.
Right.
1/8 amazing. Okay.
Right, 1/8 amazing, and like I would love to see it like not work on them, and then like the sickle cell itself takes over and kind of kills them. But that would be
Yeah.
wrong. Uh, but
Who are you?
that's where my mind went when I
No, but
first.
that is a good concept though, because everyone that we've seen with abilities, they've been able to control it to some extent.
Yeah,
What if someone has a power that they can't control? Um, like there's a sentry side and then there's a void side. Um,
Right.
and they're mixed into someone named Bob. So
right.
it's like maybe they can explore something like that where someone can control their powers and it's their an actual danger, not just to themselves, but to everyone else.
Yeah. Or like the almost like a opposite of that main character. For those who haven't seen SupaCell, one of the main characters who reveals that they have the power to absorb powers. What if he or she is able to have a power, but almost similar to like heroes, where they can push that power to someone else, unbeknownst to them, kind of thing, or afflictions, depending upon what they have. They maybe know I got to touch, if I touch you here or whatever, I can afflict you with some ailment or something.
Yeah,
Opposite of the healing touch, things like that. That again, with superhero or super powered movies and shows, the opportunities and storylines are pretty much endless. You can do really anything. I'm looking forward to it. As soon as we know when the season 2 is going to air, probably sometime next year, because I don't think there's even in production yet. This was announced that they'll give them a season 2, so they got to write it and produce it. So maybe 2025, maybe
Please be
2026.
2025. Don't do this
I
whole I'm
hope
gonna have to
so.
wait 2 to 3 years. Like just
Yeah.
2025.
Don't hit us with the Stranger Things.
Right. Like
Nah,
I'm not waiting to watch. Like
Is
these
that coming
kids
out
started
this
at
year?
11. Like they're now like 20. Like come on. No.
they're gonna be in their 40s by the time that comes
I
out.
know
It's
at this
like
point I might as well stunt double as Lucas because I mean it's
exactly, exactly.
they taking a long time to come out with this movie.
Yeah,
It's all gonna be filmed in flashbacks with new actors.
yeah.
Remember we did this? New actors.
Yeah.
I mean, 11's done got married. She's gonna have children by the time this thing is out.
Exactly. I don't know what they're doing, but
Yeah.
they got too greedy, I think, in terms of, hey, how can we make it even bigger instead of let's just close it out with a final season and let people move on.
Yeah, they honestly, maybe if they just I don't know how much more story they have to tell. You give us a whole season with backstory about the upside down guy. You could have ended it right there with them destroying him, but you don't. So it's like, well, your TV movie kind of thing, just make one long thing as opposed to multiple episodes. But I hope it ends well. I enjoyed all the seasons so far. I still think, to me, my favorite season with Stranger Things is I think the last season. This last season when they did the mall, because I feel like it's more nostalgic to our era, as far as going to the mall, hanging out, arcades, and things like that. That's nice. But moving on, Amazon Prime's hit us with I think it was 10 episodes of the new Gotham Caped Crusader featuring Batman. And it's more of it's filmed like the Batman in the animated series, where everything's kind of old school. I guess in the 50s, maybe, or even maybe
Like
early that.
50s, 60s.
Yeah. I loved it. I know it was at first it was a head scratcher when the title was they made Penguin a woman as opposed to Oswald Cobblepot as a man. That to me is like, well, what was the purpose of that? But it didn't. I mean, there was no purpose, but I still enjoy. It didn't stop me from enjoying the show. There's other changes they did as far as ethnicities and characters and things like that, but none of it changed the overall, for me anyway, the overall stories that were being told. I'm looking forward to season 2. I think what made this series very unique is that each episode, while it's in one long overarching story from all episodes, each episode focused on a different villain. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. I admit I didn't want to get my hopes up high because the original animated series I love to the point where I would time my superhero stance with the lightning strike in the background at the end of the opening sequence, where they had they introduce iconic characters or variations of known characters that are still with us today, like Harley Quinn, and so I didn't get my hopes up to that level. I did want to see a Batman animated show that I could enjoy. And we've seen so many different versions of Batman, his villains, that you can't expect them to tell the same exact story over and over again, even though they try. If you read Batman comic books, you would say his life is in a completely different place than in all the movies and all the TV shows that we see. You would never know he has an entire family now. But besides that, I didn't have an issue with them changing Penguin too much because it was just like you said, they didn't focus on that character for the entire season. And we've seen this in other places where Doc Ock, he's around an extremely long time, and they turned Doc Ock into a woman into the Spider-Verse movies. And that became an iteration that we even still see in TV now because one of the cartoons my son watches, they're using that version of Doc Ock. So he doesn't even really know the male version of Doc Ock. But to us, that's the original one. So I didn't have an issue with that. What I did have an issue with is it seemed as if there wasn't a lot of consistency in terms of where Batman was in his life, in terms of his fighting ability. So even though they introduced a number of different villains, they didn't seem that strong to me in terms of really presenting a challenge for him. So I enjoyed it. I liked the series. I want to see season 2. But it seemed as if the villains were all watered down to an extent. where it seemed as if they were a threat, but not really. And the only one that's really a threat is Rupert Murdoch, more than anyone else. And I have to admit, I know the joke that Batman he beats up, insane, asylum participants. It was early on in the show. I think it was episode 2, where the guy was literally going crazy and hallucinating, and Batman's response was to beat him up badly. And in that moment, I thought for a minute, I said,
"Give him medicine, man."
Is that really right? I mean, they put him in a bad light because it's like you could have helped this guy, you could have tied him up, and you're just wailing on him. It's just like that's not like talking about addressing mental health issues. He was just having a mental health crisis.
He's trying to beat the crazy out of him. It's okay.
He could have donated money, and I know it's a joke online, but I have to remember the episode. But it was like, wow, you could have addressed that particular situation a completely different way. And so I want to see the villains a little bit stronger next time. Where they're posing more of a challenge where you're like, I know this is going to be resolved before the episode is over. But I did enjoy the show a lot. I did.
Okay, so now we have like multiple versions of like every character. Did any of the voice actors did it feel like they owned their character over previous voice actors? Or did it all just feel perfectly cast? Like, would you have changed like Dietrich Bader did Harvey Dent Two-Face? Like, did it feel okay? I don't know how, did it feel
memorable?
new? Did it feel memorable?
No, and it's not for me. I say no, not to say that these people weren't good and someone else could have done better. It wasn't something that it's like, I could say Mark Hamill's Joker, or Kevin Conroy's Batman, how they sound in your head. And that's not to take away from the talented voice actors and actresses who've done this series. It didn't resonate with me as something totally new, something fresh. Like, okay, this is a different sound for so-and-so. This person sounds different. It's making me, a little bit more interested in this character, how they portray it. It was fine. It wasn't anything bad. It wasn't. I guess if you're thinking of a performance review, they met expectations, right? Okay. They did their job well. I wouldn't say that if they do a season 2 of Cape Crusader, I need to have so and so do that voice again. If they change it, honestly, I probably wouldn't be able to even tell you the difference. I think everyone brought their own spin to it. Like the Harley Quinn character definitely doesn't sound like Harley Quinn from the Batman the Animated Series, and I think that's fine. You don't have to try to mimic someone else's performance. Bring it to your own, and that's what you did. And I thought it was fine.
Okay.
I thought it was fine too. It wasn't, to me, if I didn't look at a character like, wow, they're doing a terrible job, then I think they did a good job. I think it's hard to give people one season and then put them to have such a big impact unless they're introducing a brand new character. Because for me, I'm going to say initially, how close do they sound to the original voice actor?
Right.
And so I think they all did a very good job. Catwoman, I thought was I enjoyed that episode. I think it was Christina Ricci who did the voice.
That
was her.
Yeah,
okay.
So she did a really good job, but I didn't recognize any of their voices, which is a good thing to me because then it's like, that's not Harley Quinn, that's Jamie Chung, or that's not Catwoman. So I think I would need to see and hear more of them in those roles before I'm like, wow, this is the new standard for that particular character.
Okay. Kids, this one.
Yeah.
I don't even know if y'all saw when the dog jumped over me, and I'm like, oh, that's.
I saw your hand go up. I wasn't sure what was happening.
The dog jumped. The dog went from the behind the couch over me, and I'm like, oh, this doing this.
Getting her steps in for the evening. Who was one of your favorite characters as far as portrayals? And everyone outside of Harvey Dent and Bruce Wayne, pretty much everyone else in the film in the series was either gender or race swapped. Of those different characters, who was your favorite and why?
It's a good question. Um, I like Renee Montoya only because I'm assuming that they're going to take a certain angle with that character at some point in the series. Um,
Mhm.
Harvey Bullock was someone who stuck out, and I say because they took a hard line in making him just a corrupt cop, as opposed to how generally speaking in the past few decades he's been presented as someone other than a corrupt cop, and they just took a hard line, took it back to the original where no, he's not here and there, he is definitely a corrupt cop, and so it took me a minute to get used to that.
Mhm.
Again, I'm like, okay, they're really going that route, but that stuck out because to me it's if you're taking a character that people have seen in one medium for a while and then you're presenting them in a completely different light, if it's not done well, it's going to be an issue. And I think it was done well to the point where it was like, I'm tired of this guy, but he's a good character, but I can't wait for him to get his. So I enjoyed that. He stuck out for me.
Yeah, I was surprised by that as well. Because I mean, I'm used to him just not being a dirty cop, just one of those. I'm just doing just the bare minimum. It's someone else's problem, but I'm on the force. I thought I was surprised by him and his partner was a Glass or a Cast or something like that. I was like, who's this? Him I don't remember from the animated series, but I was like, yeah, okay, both these guys are dirty. Okay.
I was just saying, please don't make him be the Joker variation. I was hoping that. I was like, just please don't. But that's all I say. That's all I say.
What about you, Kay?
Okay, so it's more of like I like the fact that it's not necessarily I like the character. I just like the fact that the voice actor. So Bumper Robinson, he did Lucius Fox and Goon and some of the Goons, and I'm like, it's nice hearing him.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds weird, but like he you know how like you just have actors that you remember and they were in a lot of stuff and then all of a sudden like they just stopped doing like in front of the camera work and like they're just doing super voices. I'm glad Bumper is like doing all these voices because it's just so it's fun to hear him change his voice. Like it's the same thing for all of them, but it's like it was very interesting to hear him change his voice. I was shocked at Jamie Chung as what's her name, and I was shocked at it being Christina Ricci. But like when I listen back to what I heard, I'm like, it's nice, but it's not. It's I don't get a smile on my face from listening, like from hearing their voice acting work, which sounds weird. But like with Bumper, I'm like, you don't sound like the Bumper from when you were a kid to an adult.
When you were a kid.
Because I'm like, the first thing I remember seeing him in was in like Enemy Mine. And he was a child. I'm like, that's an old movie. Then I'm like, after that, like what? It was, oh God. Before Living Single, it was something else. But like he's just one of those people, like he just shows up randomly throughout. Oh, it was a different world.
A different world, yeah.
And then like Living Single and stuff like that. And then like it was just the Generation X TV show. But then I'm like, it just like it kind of like he just stopped. And then I'm like, so now that I hear his voice, I'm like, oh, these are fun things. Like you get to be all these things that you did, but I don't know, it's a weird thing. Like I can't say that like the character was great, but I listened, like the voices was good. The voices were better for me than like no character I really care about because again, it's still Batman. And it's not, and no offense, it's never going to be the animated series, which is probably my favorite Batman. And then Batman Beyond being the second one. Like nothing's going to recreate that for me. So now it's just I like a performance.
Okay, yeah, I was surprised. Another one of you would have said Harley Quinn. For me, I liked her character only because it wasn't a traditional Harley falls in love with Joker, becomes wackadoo, and now she's Harley Quinn. Like she came in already
wackadoo.
With the,
that was nice.
These dudes got money in their pockets. I'm gonna mess up their heads and then make them pay for whatever I need to get paid for and keep it moving. Like, I was like, okay, this is a different spin on the character. I felt and I enjoyed it. I mean, not that she's an anti-hero or anything with her actions. She's still a villain, but I like that little difference between the traditional Harley Quinn role that we've come to know from the decades of Batman.
Yeah.
And for those who haven't watched Cape Crusader, stay through to the end credits of the last episode. There's a little post-credit scene, I believe, hopefully hinting towards a season 2. Should there be one? Hopefully there is a season 2.
Yeah.
Amazon got money; they could throw it at it.
They can.
Listen, if I had Bezos money, you know how many books I would have turned into movies. I don't care if y'all don't like it. I just want to see that it looks like a live action.
They
Yeah,
have
I'm gonna
my
do it.
Prime subscription, and they have ads now too. They can afford a season 2.
Yeah, they can afford it.
They can afford a season 2, a season 3, a
Yeah.
spinoff. You know,
Everything.
These guys, a few $1 billion laying around. I'm sure they can work something out.
exactly.
Yeah. So as we close out this podcast episode, we want to discuss New York Comic Con has announced that they'll be doing a looking into doing a retailers only day on a Wednesday before New York Comic Con. I don't believe it's going to be this year. I think they're thinking about possibly doing it for 2025 and in the future. That would be pretty cool definitely for retailers. My only concern is that are those retailers going to be, purchasing those limited edition items from other retailers, other vendors that's there? And then those things as a guest, as we've all been, we've seen things that's been resold on the third market or secondary market inside the same facility. Whether it's Funkos, whether it's some
I've seen stuff on eBay before the show even starts. So
I mean, hey, I used to flip a few Funkos back in my day.
Honestly,
I don't like when other people do it.
yeah.
I can do it. It's great. When other people can, no. I actually think it's a good idea. To be honest, I felt New York Comic Con was going towards a 5-day week anyway, but I think COVID is what delayed their plans. Because there's too much going on, and they sell out too quickly for them not to be smart to try to do another day. Now, the fact that it's going to be a retailer day is super smart because now it can help to pull away from some of the resellers. And like if you have the retailer day, and let's say Funko says we have set aside for retailers 50 of each Funko, that limits the people, like the Funko craziness line, where you're standing in line for like 2 hours.
We'd like to believe that would limit the.
We're hoping, like,
because there's still going to be people who will still take advantage of that.
Right, like, and it's one of those like hoping like it can do that. Like, you give them like you have a retailer's copy of whatever, of like comic books. You have retailers' versions of everything. Like, you let them all get it out the way, so that way they don't have to send their minions, or they don't have it makes it easier. It makes the con going. It would make the con going experience a lot more relaxing. And I would care more about buying stuff then. Like, for the past few years, I've never really, I don't even care, because I'm like, by the time I want something, it's going to be gone, and it's going to be resold at last year they had a bag, like it was like a Halloween bag at Loungefly, and it sold out. And I'm like, they're reselling this bag for $500 before the con ended.
I can't get in on that. I mean, it's such an unfortunate thing.
But it's one of those things, like, I'm okay with it being a retailer day, but also I think in the future they might want to make the convention 6 days, and then you have retailer Tuesday, open the con for con goers on Wednesday. I mean, again, this is assuming retailer day goes well, and it
full days, or are you thinking like half days, like how Thursdays used to open up after noon, like in like 1-2 o'clock or so. Like, I can't see them doing, because I've never been to San Diego Comic Con, so I can't see them doing a 6-day convention and it'd be a full day thing. I can see them saying retailer only Tuesday, and that would be like a midday kind of thing. Like, it starts at 3, ends at 8. And
Okay,
then VIP, and Wednesday would be VIP only. So retailers and VIPs would have access all day. There may
that
be
can
panels, may not
Yeah.
be panels, but they have access to the show floor all day. And then, the commoners like you and I, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, everyone's welcome. It's open up, was it 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. to whenever the show closes. My only concern is panels. Like if you're doing a Tuesday, you're doing a Thursday, or that's just strictly show floor. There's no panels being done. So it's just really retailers only. It's really just retailers only. Like we're not going to even have the only people in the building is going to be artist alley people and vendors and retailers. Like,
okay, yeah. So maybe just 4 days, and then make Wednesday the retailer day where they can get all their stuff out the way and leave the show floor for the rest of us, like Thursday through Sunday. Because
I could see the VIP being pushed to the same as the retailers, and then they'll bump the price for that to make it worth your while. You're now getting access to the show floor when only the VIP is there. And the VIP is not a lot. I mean, I don't know. It's more than 300 people, but even if you have 500 people on the show floor and the Javits is not a lot of people at all. I mean, you can probably lay down starfish style in the middle of the floor and no one's going to step on you. Like it's just so much space in between. But I mean, you get what I'm saying. That would probably be worth it, especially for people like Kay said who wants those exclusive things. Like I could get this whatever edition that's might get gobbled up quickly because it's a low quantity. But honestly, it wouldn't be worth it. I wouldn't be opposed to doing the VIP. I hit the show floor, see what I want to see, and I gotta come back.
Yeah.
So I'm good.
I would be fine with it if I had a VIP pass. So maybe one year I'll get one. My only issue with the extra day for the VIP is that when you get into a panel that you really want, and then right before it starts, they tell everybody to move up because a lot of VIPs didn't show up because they're stuck in the Funko line. That may not happen now if they have their own day. So I understand how it benefits the VIPs, which is a good thing. I mean, you're paying extra money to try to get some exclusives, but it may have an impact in terms of other items. But I don't have an issue with it at all. I'm not one that is going to try to attend more days than I'm able to. I remember when they tried to do Super Week a few years ago, and that didn't work out as well as I guess they hoped. I don't mind a 5th day. I just may not be there, and that's okay. Because I'm there on Sundays, and I know a lot of people can't make it on Sundays because they may be worn out from the weekend, and so it's fine. Maybe I will do 5 days 1 year. I don't have an issue with it. This is one of the things that I go to every single year. All I have to do is just plan accordingly. If I want to do a Wednesday, I'll just plan ahead for a Wednesday. If not, either way, I'm going to plan to have a good time. So it doesn't bother me one way or the other.
Okay, so VIP tickets this year was $575. Like, yeah.
The 4-day pass wasn't much lower than that. So
no, 4 days was $240, but I'm just like, ooh,
yeah. But see, the thing with the VIP, like again, the difference between VIP and the 4-day pass, to me, I personally don't think it's worth the $200 some odd dollars difference. I mean, you get the access to that lounge room, but we've all passed that room. It's not that large.
Right.
I think you get free coach at, but I've been rocking New York Comic Con for well over a decade, and I don't need I need to get rid of this coat. I got this coat so heavy. I leave it in a car and go leave it in the trunk of the car, keep it moving, tie it around my waist. I'm fine. I could see if it was like you get VIP, you get a food voucher, but there's a VIP exclusive. Not a buffet, but there's certain food that's available for VIP. Like inside this thing, they have the popcorn or the Wild Bill soda kind of thing. You automatically come with a free cup. Something like that to me is more. Still not worth $200, but it gives me one of those.
Yeah,
okay,
like right now,
I don't care if I'm not sitting in the front row. I don't care if I'm not sitting in the front row inside the the whatever IGN theater or whatever. I'm content with either seeing it. If I can't get in, I can't get in. I keep it moving. I've been disappointed so many years of trying to get into this thing. Panels is like, it's not one of those things where I couldn't get into the Taylor Swift concert. I'm gonna pass out here in the parking lot and sing outside. No. Okay, I couldn't get in. I couldn't get in to see this Marvel panel. Okay. Well, what else is available? All right, I'll sit in this one and take a nap in the meantime. Y'all go ahead about your show. I'm gonna sit in the back and just go to sleep.
Yeah, and I don't know what light catering means. It could mean you get a bottle of water, or it could mean you can have this little bag of pretzels. So to me, I need to know what light catering is. And they should have like some machine foot massages. So you put your feet in the machine, they take care of you for a while, and then you get back up to stand in line and walk around again. Then I'll consider it more.
So wait, okay. What if VIP access included? So let's say if you let's not say this is what it does, because it does include that. But let's say if New York Comic Con were to say Wednesdays are now VIP day alone, but in that VIP day you have access to the VIP lounge, which is also where all of the celebrities are going to be. Would that make it more enticing?
That's got to be like super VIP, because I understand the celebrities want to have a break away from us anyway. So you're gonna put them in the same room with us. It's like they got the goddamn white. Limit the number. Like VIP, where you have a private Q&A with whatever celebrity or whatever talent that they got for you. So each day is a different talent. So it's a VIP room, and for say Wednesday they have, I don't know, John Romita Jr. or something like that, and then Thursday they got someone else. They got, I don't know. They got a comic book writer, and then they got someone from a TV show. And again, it might not be a show that you watch. It may not be from a book that you read. Not everything's going to be Robert Kirkman and Ryan Reynolds, but these may be someone that you may like, someone you may not like. But these are what they're offering to you. Because even with catering, like I said, it could be fruit snacks, some gummy snacks and pretzels, and fruit by the foot and a bottle of water. That's quote unquote catering. You're not getting filet mignon or let me get some gourmet mac and cheese. No, they're not doing that. You're getting this hot pocket and a Snapple. That's room temperature. Here you go.
And the food trucks have improved a lot. I mean, so you pay for food at the food trucks. You're still saving money with 4-day pass instead of getting VIP.
Yeah. VIP gets you obviously whatever VIP gives you, but each day you get a food voucher. Yeah. So if you don't, unfortunately, if you can't stack them up and say I'm gonna use all 4 on Sunday. One voucher is good for each day, one per person, and it gives you one combo meal worth $20 at any of their food trucks. So you can't be like, well, if you bought $30 worth of stuff, you still got to pay. You have to come out of pocket and pay the difference. But the food voucher gives you $20 off of that. I don't know, was it the Tiger Ramen Bowl or the chicken finger things? That's like $18 for like 3 chicken fingers and some steel ass fries. Like this is, but you get a free coupon. So you still got to wait on the line unless they come up with VIP lines for food. Again, this is give me something that I feel like I'm getting my money's worth. Food truck. Yeah. You never know. They may have something where they have a runner now. VIP, you put the order in and they're like Uber Eats kind of thing. They bring it to you right inside the lounge. Okay, we got an order for K. Okay, here's your. Sorry, it took me 30 minutes to get from outside the Javits to where you are inside the lounge, but
you didn't pick priority delivery, so
you didn't get super VIP. You just got regular VIP. Super VIP, the guy comes in one of those Segway scooters, like up the escalator. There you go. But I mean, you get what I'm saying. Like this, I think people feel more that certain things are more deserving when they can see and feel it. Yeah. Telling me I have access to front row seating, if it's allowed, because if every VIP person wanted to see this thing at IGN Theater, they're not going to get those VIP. They can't fit all in those seats.
Right.
Man, I'm guessing it's at least 300 some odd VIPs, probably more. They don't have 300 seats in the front row in the IGN Theater. Front row, first 2 rows, first 3 rows, not 100 across. So what do we do? Rock, paper, scissors. No, get you next time. I don't want the next time. I want to see this one.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like then I gotta wait for it to happen again. Then hopefully I get a panel that I may want. Yeah,
Yeah.
it would just be better to have 5 days where the VIP goes one day along with the vendors,
Mm-hmm.
and then the rest of us get the other 4 days. Not that we're gonna all be there for all 4 days, but it's easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. I think Bleeding Cool broke the story about it. We'll follow them to see if they have any more information in regards to what may or may not happen in the coming years for New York Comic Con, which is run by Reed Pop. So they may experiment with this at C2E2 or Emerald City Con. So we'll see what happens. I think our next episode will probably discuss what else is coming out now.
Yeah,
We did discuss all the stuff that happened in D23.
Yeah, that's true. I did see some nice trailers. I think I finally did get to see it was leaked footage of Fantastic Four trailer, which looks pretty nice. The Star Wars Skeleton Crew as well. Interesting. It went in a direction I didn't see it going.
Because it's for kids.
Yeah, I didn't think that. When I heard Skeleton Crew and Jude Law, I'm thinking it's something darker. This feels like Space Goonies. So it's not something I'm going to be readily wanting to see, but I'll still see it on Disney. Hey, it's free. Disney Plus. We'll check it out. I mean, did you not see the trailer? Did it not look like Space Goonies? It looked like Space. I mean, they got some alien-looking people, so that could be the Hey You Guys. But
okay, but wait. Okay, I know we're not really going to actually go in depth about D23, but when you look back at it, there's a connection between D20, like Skeleton Crew, and the Disney thing that they did with Michael Jackson, Io.
Captain EO?
Captain EO, yeah. One of the creatures that is in Space Goonies. Sorry. In Skeleton Crew was actually the same creature in Captain, in the one with Michael Jackson.
So is it possible that Michael Jackson, his character existed inside the Star Wars universe?
Correct.
So maybe he was aware was he force sensitive? Instead of going the path of the Jedi,
that's how he was able to moonwalk.
The midichlorians were underneath his feet, guiding him.
Exactly.
But that's literally how. Like, that's literally it. Like, it's like they point. Someone else pointed it out, and I can't remember where I saw it. But I was like, because I wasn't a Disney, like I was a Disney kid, but I never went to the Disney park until I was an adult. Because who got money for that? But
I went on the Captain EO. Well, it's not even a ride. It's an experience. You sit in it's a 3D show that you sit in the chair with the glasses and watch the laser show and stuff.
Okay, so there was like a little red creature that he had. Yeah, that's in Skeleton Crew.
Okay, I gotta rewatch the trailer, but yeah, I remember because not that I expected to see Michael Jackson on this ride, but like physically there, but it wasn't animatronic. It's literally sitting down, you put the glasses on, and he's it's a whole mini story dance number, but it's just watching a movie with three-dimensional things and the laser light show at the top of the screen, and then the thing that was on his shoulder, I forgot what it's called, but I remember it floats it goes like this, like floats towards the camera, so it feels like it's right in front of your face before they say goodbye, kind of thing. So this is again well over 20 years ago when this was. I think Captain EO was like on its way out, so it wasn't like it was on its way out. This is I think we went down to Florida. I think this was.
Were you in high school or middle school?
Oh, I was in high school. You couldn't tell me nothing. I probably got the pictures of me with my turquoise tank top on and like leopard pattern shorts on and these little kung fu Kenny slippers. Nothing was matching, but I felt like it was.
Welcome to the 90s.
But I think this was around the time I think of Back to the Future 3 was gonna be coming out, because I remember waiting on at least an hour-long line for the Back to the Future 2 ride where you're supposed to get inside the DeLorean. And again, it's another one of those things where you rocking side to side, and you got to go save. You got to save Marty or something like that. It's one of those things where Doc is talking to you because you're supposed to help Doc in putting stuff inside the car or whatever. And they had like the big train on the outside of the building. Supposed to be a replica of the Back to the Future locomotive and stuff out there too. This is again long time ago, so it wasn't. This is not like, I got some. Yeah, we could. You know what? Next episode we'll talk about amusement park memories. That's
all right.
Okay.
That works.
I'm all for it. And then we can discuss
amusement park memories. So we talking about action or was a class action lawsuit park in Jersey, so all kind of stuff. So yeah, we got some stories to tell. How I almost drowned in Dorney Park. Yeah, we got some stories. Until next time, this is Hokage signing off. K. Kareem and Hanif.